Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Briefa for November 17th, 2021. This one's about Biden and Trump. I did hear the news today, to give some credit where it's due. Biden did do something anti-Trump. There's a civil war in Morocco, and the Moroccan government had been given some type of, um, you know, authority or recognition by Trump, at least over a certain area, something like this, in Morocco. Like Trump had favored the government over the rebels. But Biden apparently reversed that. And there's apparently some type of development in this civil war in Morocco. Wouldn't have even heard about it probably if it wasn't for KGNU, the good news source that I listen to, 88.5 FM radio, KGNU out of Boulder. But it's not a small thing. I'm sure it's not a small thing to the people of Morocco. But it's not a major news story that everybody's talking about either. But it is one thing that Biden's done different than Trump. There's a number of other things that Biden hasn't done differently enough than Trump, including deporting refugees and attacking refugees on the border. And even when they got caught attacking refugees on the border with horses, I think Biden and Kamala Harris just expressed outrage and sent those horses to another part of the border. They didn't even stop them doing it. I could be wrong about that. But it's way too Trumpy. The very, very Trumpiest thing that Biden's doing is he hasn't arrested Trump for the insurrection yet. That's ridiculous. Leaving Trump out there to fundraise or to be a threat in the next election to try to beat him, think you can beat him in the next election, which you could, but the real solution here is to pass the torch to Bernie or AOC and just save the country. We can't be compromising with this fascism anymore, because that's exactly what it is, and it's threatening to destroy the country and getting closer the longer you let it go on. So the main thing is, of course, arrest Trump. And it's been 300 something days. It's been plenty of time. But there's some other things too that I've heard about recently in the news that Biden hasn't done to reverse Trump. And again, it's not as big as arresting Trump. It's not as small as, the territory in Morocco. It's a bigger deal than that, and it's something that really only Biden can fix. Now, there's one thing that seems kind of small, but it's a really easy fix. So it makes me think, why hasn't Biden done this? And that's put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. I've made some videos about it. But this was supposed to happen before Trump took office, and then it took maybe a year or two for it to go into place, but then Trump stopped it because of his racism. It's just flipping a switch. It's just saying, okay, go ahead with that. And it's ready to go. So for Biden not to have gone ahead and reversed that Trumpy racist thing is really suspicious. It just starts to make you think that Biden is working for the same group, which is the KKK. The KGB is involved now too. So it's a traitorous terrorist organization. It's been a homegrown terrorist organization, but now it's also a traitorous terrorist organization because Zuckerberg, Facebook, and the KGB are helping them do it. But here's some other issues that just point to why isn't Biden going against Trump enough in things that only he can do. Tariffs. Now, the reason we don't talk about tariffs much is because I don't think any president has used them in 100 years, but Trump started using them. I think Congress generally directs most of the international trade relations type stuff. But one power that the president does have is tariffs. It's just, traditionally presidents haven't used that power in a long time. So for Trump to pull it out of his back pocket, for one, it means, he put in a tariff, which is something only a president can do. It's only maybe a president can undo. That means Biden. And I've heard recently the aluminum and other tariffs on EU goods. Biden made some deal with the EU to allow certain things within the tariff, like to give a grace to a certain amount of products, but to keep the tariffs in place. Why? Why keep a Trumpy tariff in place? There's also the tariffs against China, and Biden's recently meeting with the leaders of China. But did you take the tariffs off, which only you can do, which only Trump put on for only Trump racist, terrible, destroy America reasons? Only you can do that, so do it already. And in another country, in Cuba, they're talking recently about protests in Cuba, which when we talk about it in American media, since we don't talk about protests in our own country, we talk about the protests in Cuba, because we're trying to overthrow the communist government there. But we've also had all these embargoes and under Trump, apparently even worse tariffs against Cuba, and they're still in place. What Trump did to make it worse, because I guess, Obama had started to open up travel and everything with Cuba, but whatever Trump has done is still in place under Biden, and only Biden can reverse it. So this is very discouraging, not just about Biden not doing his job and trying to repair the damage that Trump has done, but that he's not even trying to, because they're on the same team and they're only going to fix a few cosmetic things here and there where they're forced to or where they're caught, but they're not really trying to fix much at all, which is, why we wanted Bernie in the first place and why I think the call will be for AOC 2024. And Biden's best move would be to endorse AOC and to be graceful about bowing out and handing over power and showing that it's not about a tyrant. It's not about, the way Trump and Putin want it, to have a tyrant or to be a tyrant like Putin, and to seize power and hold power. It's about sharing power and expanding everybody's access to power so that we all get the best for everyone. That's what democracy is all about. That's what America is really all about. And we can make it all about that, but we got to work hard to make it happen and do everything we can. I think just pushing the route of AOC, I've said before in some videos recently, only AOC could keep AOC from being president if she decides not to run. If she decides to primary Biden, she'll win that. They won't run 30 people against her. Tulsi will run, maybe some other Russians, but they won't run that many people against her. They won't have a chance. And Bernie could do the same thing, but I think it's just serendipitous that AOC is going to turn 35 2 weeks before the election, 2 or 3 weeks before the election, just in time to be our first woman president and the first one that the people really want. So thanks for watching, sharing, and let's make it happen, AOC 24. Talk to you soon, and let's let people know that since that's our goal, maybe Biden will start getting some more things done faster and get Trump into jail, stop this insurrection and destroying our country, and Zuckerberg too. Thank you.